What is going on, guys and girls? How are you doing today? It's Angry Roleplay here once again. Today I want to show you an update to the Create Tectonic Slam Thick Tonic build that I created a couple of weeks ago. And when I released the build, I've got a lot of questions, a lot of comments. A lot of people had problems playing the build, and I realized quickly that there are a lot of new players out there just do not even understand how Juggernaut works, and they perhaps overestimated the things that I presented within the build. So I wanted to start with the basics and basically tell you that Juggernaut completely leaves off the endurance charters. If you do not generate endurance charters in any way, you basically will not survive, because the way how this specific setup works is you are using two Calm's Way rings to help us out region the fire degeneration of the Nebulox, and Juggernaut is the only class in the game who can really out region and use Calm's Way rings very effectively. Another thing which is important to understand is you always need to keep your endurance charges up. If you don't have endurance charges up against boss fights, try to generate ones, and then your life will be much easier, because it will take less elemental damage. You will get cast resistance. If you're dying against Syndicate, watch your endurance charges, because they're extremely important for the build. Without endurance charges up, don't even attempt going anywhere, honestly. So to make your life easier, I brought some two let me say beginner friendly things into the build, which are the Enduring Cry and endurance charge and melee stun with the Leap Slam. Originally I had Blood Magic because I didn't really have a lot of problems generating endurance charges at all, but a lot of people are playing up there, they don't really have very deep understanding, and they don't have the necessary skill possibly to play this setup smoothly. So I decided I'm gonna make it easier and introduce the solid safe setup that will make your life easier and allow you to generate more endurance charges even against bosses. So there'll be two things added to the build right now, which is the endurance charge and melee stun linked with the Leap Slam. There will be no blood magic, and then can be a little annoying at the start because your mana regeneration will not be very good. So but Allura Bandit will also help with us too. So if you feel like you don't have problems generating charges, use blood magic. If you need a little help, always use endurance charge and melee stun with a Leap Slam. This will ensure you get much more chance to get endurance charges. Another thing that I changed is I removed blind from the Ancestral Watcher, because I realized that blind is absolutely worthless for me personally, because I run Calm's route with Unwavering Stance, which makes me that I don't have evade, I don't have chance to evade attacks. They always hit me no matter what. So blind is absolutely pointless for this specific build. It is not pointless for the Ancestral Watcher, but I don't give a shit if he dies. But for me personally, it's absolutely worthless. So I decided I'm gonna put good Enduring Cry there. And Enduring Cry is mostly specifically for situations where you just don't have monsters to get to endurance charges on, which is mostly the boss encounters, or if you feel like it's pretty dangerous, like you have Beyonds in this, you just press Enduring Cry, you get your endurance charges up, and it will make you much safer. So these two options are there now in the path of building and in the actual character that I use. Thinking about path of building, there are a couple of tweaks that I made. First of all, I realized that we can actually get the quality on the Nebulox, this League, and the Betrayal. If you're playing this in the Betrayal, not the Standard, you can get your Syndicate and quality of Nebulox up to 28%, which is a very, very nice. It boosts DPS as well. Another thing that which I added to the build is the Watcher's Eye with Hatred crit chance. This is the absolutely best Watcher's Eye you can get for this build, guys. And if you somehow manage to get this double hatred or triple hatred Watcher's Eye, it could be absolutely crazy. But the prices on this specific Watcher's Eye with a crit chance is about 3 to 4 Exiles. The double mod Hatred Watcher's Eye is about 20-30 exiles, and the free mod Hatred Watcher's Eye is extremely expensive, but possibly if you have the currency, just buy it and use it because it's very strong. It's as much stronger than any triple multiplier, crit multiplier jewel that you can get, and at the same time it's not as expensive as a very crazy insane triple crit multi-life jewel out there. So thing that you need to look for is the 1.8 crit strike chance while affected by hatred, and if you don't understand what it actually means, it's like the base crit chance that you have on your character, and this is like an effective multiplier to your crit chance. It just increases your base crit chance, which this is why it's like an assassin based it's like an assassin perk crit chance that you get using this watch design. This is extremely good for things like Blade Vortex, for example. I also always wanted to get this for my Blade Vortex build as well. This is extremely good. It raises your crit chance a lot, and we managed to get to 2.9 million on level 94 tree as well. One thing that I want to talk about the tree, as thanks to the feedback that I got from the people on Reddit, on my Path of Exile forum friends, we managed to get a little better tree on 94 and 97. 94 allows us to reach this jewel node over here by dropping the blonde instrument here. We'll unspec this and get to the this thing, and Divine Fervor as well as Holy Dominion is also there, so we're stretching through this. This gives us a little more damage than going with the blonde instrument, and level 97 is absolutely absurd amount of DPS. It's like 3.2 million dips. It's a crit build guy. So by going Twin Turrets, like I originally said, this is greatly increases our crit chance, and assuming we have a pretty insane crit multiplier, that greatly increases the chance to hit very heavily. That's about it. Another thing that most players do not understand is how physical damage reduction works, and why you even need so much armor, like what it does exactly. They look at this tab over here. This is like physical damage reduction, and if you have like everything up, it goes up to 90%, and they just start thinking like, why do we need more than like 90%, for example, which is a kind of a soft cap in Path of Exile. Well, the way that armor works is very different, because the armor mitigates the incoming hits, the incoming physical hits, and pretty much they can mitigate not more than 10% of the damage. But if you have like a lot of armor and the hit is pretty weak, then you can mitigate a lot of it. But the biggest problem is the higher you go, the stronger the hits are. And for example, like Uber Zaro and Uber Elder hit quite hard with the physical damage, slams and all that shit. And think about how much armor you need to get to mitigate this incoming damage. Like for example, the biggest example that I can give is if you get hit by 500, like 5,000 physical damage, for example, like some kind of a slam, you need about 50,000 armor to be able to mitigate this damage in general. If you have low, like 5,000 armor and you get 5,000 hit, you mitigate just like 500 hit out of it. So basically, the higher armor you have, the stronger hits you can mitigate, and the less damage you take from the very strong hits, and you practically do not get any damage from the lower hits. So the simple answer to this is the more armor the better, and 50,000-60,000 armor is very high in Path of Exile, and this makes you pretty safe against very strong hits, the strongest hits in the game. That's why it's so incredibly strong. Another thing that I want to talk about are flasks for the Tectonic Slam Juggernaut. And there are a couple more flasks that can be useful for the build on the Betrayal League. One flask is actually the Cinder Swallow Urn, and this flask is only available from the Mastermind. When you defeat Mastermind, it actually can drop this flask and open up a veiled mod that you can craft later on the normal blue flasks as well. There are two variations of the Cinder Swallow Urns that can be useful for the build. One is a 3% of life regen per second during flask effect, and another one is the increased crit strike chance during flask effect. Both are pretty good. One is just more defensive, like hardcore oriented, and this is more softcore oriented flask. This is a silver flask, so it's just gives you onslaught, and if you, for example, don't have onslaught on your jewels, this is a really good and solid source of onslaught for mapping, for leveling, for pretty much anything. Another thing that is really nice is we are actually igniting the enemy, and enemies ignited during the flask effect take 10% increased damage, which is very nice. And this is actually works like a multiplier, like the Wise Oak. Increased damage is very strong. And since we're running Herald of Ash, we're not running Gale Focus, we are actually igniting left and right, so this is always up. And combined with the crit chance and onslaught, this makes it one of the best flasks, one of the best unique flasks for the build, along with the Lion's Roar, Wise Oak, and Taste of Hate as well. Another thing which is I want to mention is once you unlock these flasks on the Mastermind, you can also start crafting this crit on the normal flask, which I have here, which is Diamond Flask, and it costs 6 Glassblower's Bubbles. And unfortunately, the biggest problem with this is it only allows you to craft suffixes here. And most best things like increased armor, increased elemental resistance, they all suffixes. So your best bet is to get just increased duration, some charge recovery on as a prefix on this thing. And unfortunately, if you have your armor like I do in my original build right now, like if you remove this extra armor from the flask, it drops your armor by about a lot, by like 10,000 armor lost. It's a bit of a problem, and you need to understand what trade-off you're doing. Like you are gaining a lot more damage, but you are becoming less tanky because you are losing armor on your blue flask. But let's craft this and see. So here we go. This is like double crit flask now. This is very powerful. This is like OP crit flask for the build, and this is exceptionally strong. This is it, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for watching the video. Your likes and dislikes, especially, as they push me forward even more. If you want to see more content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do daily uploads of role-playing content, being it builds, guides, let's play, stream highlights, and upcoming RPG games. Also, don't forget to follow my Twitch stream to catch me live in action. I do stream daily on working days. I'm a full-time YouTube content creator and a Twitch streamer too, so if you want to support me, you can do it either from Twitch or by PayPal directly from my website angryroleplayer.com. Join my Discord channel too for a place to discuss RPG things offline, as well as follow my Twitter to be notified on any new content. If you want to get extra information like sneak peeks into upcoming videos, plans, different behind-the-scenes footage, you can also join the Unholy Army on Patreon as well, guys. Thank you very much once again for watching, listening to all this. See you soon.